In this episode, you're going to discover one of the most lethal things in paragliding, hang gliding, and powered paragliding. You're going to learn how not to get killed by that, so you can have a long and fulfilling life as a pilot. Welcome to Flight Coach. If you're new here, my name is Bas van Duin and it's my mission to help you get more out of life through having less stress and more skills. And if you're a subscriber, thanks for your continued support. We're already up to the 21st episode now of making weekly content for you guys and girls to chew on. So today's topic is what I would like to call the steps of doom. And I will explain right away what I mean by that. When you're progressing as a pilot from your first few flights to having way over 1,000 flights, it's not a linear process. It's not like you keep gradually increasing. It's more of a sort of a stepped thing. You learn a thing or two and then you stay at the same level. Then you learn another thing or two and you increase your skill. And it goes up like that and up like that. Literally like steps. And the dangerous thing about these steps is that you have the tendency to get complacent. For the non-native speakers of this beautiful language, complacency means getting careless, taking things for granted and thinking that you have complete control. Well, that is one of the things that we will never have in these beautiful air sports. And when you get complacent, bad things will happen to you. And that's something that I would like to help you avoid. And you may think that getting complacent is something that just happens randomly. Well, it is not that simple. There are specific points in every pilot's career, independent of the aircraft that they're flying, in which they have an increased chance of becoming susceptible to complacency. And those are the points at which they run an increased risk of getting injured or worse. And those specific points in time I will be trying to define in this video, and that's what I call the steps of doom. Now, and of course the term steps of doom is something that I made up. Just like LSD, the launch stress destructor, also something I made up, but it works wonders for a lot of people, and I still keep getting emails almost weekly about this great topic. If you have not seen that video yet, I can highly recommend that you check it out. Now, my experience with the steps of doom comes from flying and teaching for many years, talking to pilots of all the disciplines, hang gliding, paragliding and powered paragliding, talking to instructors, talking to pilots in a lot of countries, and this is something that we have all seen happening. So the majority of this episode I will spend on taking you through the different steps that we see on the steps of doom, defining what type of pilots with what kind of experience we find there. And at the end of the video I will also give you some recommendations on dealing with the complacency that may set in when you are at one of these steps. So please stay till the end to learn how to deal with this. So the first step is around 10 flights. People at this step consider themselves experienced beginners. They know how to handle the paraglider in the basics, they know how to make turns, and some people, depending on their level, may even be already flying patterns by themselves or practicing spot landings. Now, of course, this is still a stage, a phase in which there is still an instructor guiding you. So that's an important failsafe. When I was at I think 10 or 12 flights, I did my first spin unintentionally while flying a pattern. It was quite low to the ground. So that's, I think, an interesting example how you may already get cocky while you have actually this little experience. And the next step is the step of between, in general, 50 to 80 flights. That's the step at which most people start getting their licenses and start making their first attempts at flying cross-country, making their first outlandings. They've probably already seen a few buddies from their training program drop out because they did not have the skill like you do or the balls, right? This would also be a great point if you are here now watching this and you recognize yourself being at this step to check out my video about responsible risk taking. This can really be a rewarding thing for you right now. I'll leave a link up here. At around 250 flights, you will see yourself as a very experienced pilot. You've probably seen a lot of incidents and accidents happening already. You've been in stressful situations yourself where you managed to get on top. You maybe got some friends and family into flying. You're used to planning your holidays around your flying hobby, and maybe you're even helping out as an assistant instructor somewhere. At around 1,000 flights, you may see yourself as the professional. You've been flying for a very long time. You may have even seen someone die. You've been in a lot of nasty situations. You probably, statistically speaking, have used your reserve parachute either in an SIV training or in real life. Other pilots regard you with a lot of respect since you are someone with a lot of experience. You've probably also seen a lot of people quit in the time that you've been flying now. Probably due to bad experiences or just deciding it's not the hobby for them. And some of the people you have trained with in your beginning days are now probably performing at a national or even a World Cup level. At around 1,500, maybe 2,000 flights, you'll see yourself as, well, just a pilot. Your need to show off is greatly reduced. You've probably had a few buddies get severely injured or even die in the air sport that you're doing. Maybe you have a role as an responsible flight instructor, and flying has become a way of life for you. Currently, I'm at this step, and to admit, I have not been really stressed or really scared or been in really nasty situations for quite a long time now. So I know that this is a time in which I have to start and keep paying extra attention to every decision that I make. And I'm sure that progressing beyond this, there must be more of these steps. Maybe at 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, who knows. Of course, it will be getting harder and harder to define these steps because the amount of pilots in these steps will get drastically smaller compared to the other steps. So at all of these steps, you run the risk of thinking that nothing is actually changing. Each flight is quite similar to the previous flight or to the previous 10, 20 or 30 flights. And at these points in time, we have a natural tendency, because we're all human beings, to get complacent. And that is when accidents start happening. So how do we prevent these accidents from happening? How do we prevent ourselves from getting complacent? Well, I have a few tips for you on that as well. First of all, the awareness is very important. So that you're watching this video right now, 2 thumbs up for that. So watch this video again in the future. Maybe share it with your buddies. Awareness is very important. When you feel too much at ease while flying or when getting ready to take off or to land, do some soul searching. At the same time you're experiencing that, or if that's not possible, do it as soon as possible afterwards. Do soul searching, find out why you are so at ease, because that's a sign that you're getting complacent as well. Talk to others about this subject, ask them how they are feeling, help each other to stay sharp. And this may not be a nice thing to do, but it is a very interesting thing to do, and you can learn a lot about it and keep yourself focused on the darker sides of our air sports. Read incident investigation reports. Almost all countries have a system for gathering these incident reports, and most of the countries, they are publicly accessible as well, maybe even through your club or through your organization, where you can access them directly. Please let me know what you think about the different style and setting of this specific episode. Leave a comment down below. I'm also really eager to hear at which of these steps you currently are or are maybe approaching. That would be wonderful to discuss that a little bit further. If you like what you're seeing, maybe consider subscribing, press that like button, and please note that the next 2 Fridays I will be flying in the Alps again and not be making any wonderful content for you guys. Of course, I will be shooting some material for a future episode. I recommend you stick around on this channel. I think there's a lot more interesting stuff going on. The video right beside me here is one that I selected for you to watch. And the one down below over there is one the YouTube algorithm thinks you should watch. See you next time. See you in the air.